Good morning, everyone. Ron Nicoletti here, along with Samantha Perry. Holy Bull Day.
Holy Bull Day.
And holy, I ran Ortiz Jr. yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was impressive. 7 wins in a row. Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later on. We have some information to give you. We had a little rain here this morning, so we have 3 races off the turf, the first, the 5th, and the number 7th. But the main track is fast. The other turf races, the course is listed as good. So lots to get to today.
Yep.
So we'll go right to it. 150,000 in the Rainbow Six. A little later on there, you see it starts in race number 7. But we'll go right to Brian's early pick 5 ticket here.
Yeah, let's see what he kind of put together in a very tough opening sequence here. $54, 4 deep in the first. In race number 2, he went 3, and in race number 3, went 3. In race 4, he singled with the number 4, Lena the Lion. Must be his best bet, or must really love the horse. And 3 deep in the 5th with the 1, 2, and 4. $54. Could be some bombs away in this sequence.
Absolutely. This first race today was originally for 7.5 on the turf, now 1 mile and 70 on the Topita scratch. The 1, the 4, the 6, the 8, and the 11. Please note that 13 and 14 and get in to run, and the number 14 ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. and Jose will be on that 3 horse in the Vladislav. So way to go. And Samantha, both you and I went with Warp Speed Baby, who's going to the Topita. You know, surrendered those late leads, going a little bit longer. I think is a good spot for this horse today.
Yeah, I do, and I like that he's got that Topita form to kind of back him up here, cutting back just a little bit in distance, and this is a horse that shouldn't have problem at all with this field.
You know, the number 3, Vladislav, is another going to the Topita track. The pace, I thought, ran a solid 4th, going 8.5 on the grass. As I mentioned, Jose Ortiz is going to ride.
Yeah, and this is a horse that I originally liked for the turf. Kind of faded him a little bit here with the Topita. I might kick myself for that later, but we'll see.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. This one was always about 1 mile 70 yards on the Topita. Maiden claiming fillies and mares 4 and up, 12-5. We did have 2 scratches in here of the number 1, Nisa, and the number 4, Rose is always right. So we'll have a 5-horse field in here. And I always... Samantha had the number 6 on top. Did you use that one on your early pick 4 ticket?
I did indeed. Yep, this starts the early pick 4, $24. Have some coverage in these first 2 races. In race number 4, the 1, 4, and 5, 1 being my top pick. And in race number 5, singling with the 8, Windsor Park. I wish it was on the grass, but we got to do what we got to do. $24.
$24, very affordable. Getting back to the second race, and number 6, Always Connected, is dropping to the 12.5 level and returning to the all-weather surface with blinkers added. Followed that stalk to pace 5th against Better with a chase and paid 6th against 20 claimers. I think George Weaver finds an ideal spot to get her to the winner's circle today.
Yeah, this is a perfect spot. And I like the fact that now with the 2 scratches, she moves in some. So I think she should set a perfect trip run.
And the number 5, Bella Miura, is a late striding daughter of Classic Empire. Maybe we lost a little of the speed in here. Coming from the clouds to finish second in both those races.
Exactly. And sometimes that doesn't always set up for the speed or for a deep closer. So we'll see what she gets on the front end.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. 6.5 furlongs, fast main track. These are maiden. Optional claim is 4 and up. Optional tag is $40,000. Did have a scratch of the number 4, Sutton Breeze, and we both went with number 3, Clever Enough. Why, pray tell?
This horse, you know, it wasn't as bad as a defeat as it looks on paper. That winner, Bourbon Ready, was just extra ready for that race. Just was drawing away. Clever Enough was just much the best for second place, and he might be first winner here today.
The number 8, Jackson's Web, is a candidate, I believe, for a rebound performance after following that second place finish, going 7. That was 2 starts back. Comes back and runs a clunker at 3/4 of a mile. So maybe he bounces back. You know, one of those bounce rebound angles in there. And behind Clever Enough, I thought there's a bunch of ways to go. You actually had a stat on the number 7 with Purpose, the gelded son of Run Happy.
Yeah, this is a stat for trainer Brennan Walsh with maiden claimers going at Gulfstream. 3-year-olds and upward, 9 for 47, 19 win percent, $1.68 ROI. So I think this horse will be bet some. I like the fact that he's debuting this horse for maiden claiming. Just not sure how live it's going to be.
Luis Saez in the saddle today. That is always a good thing. We'll go to race number 4 this afternoon, and this is 5 furlongs, about distance on the Tapeta. Claim is 4 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, 12-5 down to $10,000. No scratches in this race. We'll go with your one. You went with a Oaxaca on top of your ticket.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Ismael Jaramillo in the irons. He's very good at getting a horse out of the gate. This is a short run to the finish line here. I like this inside draw and getting to a level where he can win here for the 12-5.
Yeah, I like the fact he got an 8-1 shot on top. I think that horse can run well. I did go with the horse you have in second, Demurely, who's cutting back to 5 after stepping off the claim by Saffie Joseph Jr. Coming within the nose of defeating this level, going 5.5. I don't know how much of a difference that makes on the Tapeta, but threw this one on top of my ticket.
Yeah, and this is one that maybe if you want to play a skinnier ticket, single and move on, or take everybody else except him.
Exactly right. And then Lena the Lion should be primed and ready. You would think after returning, that was like a 9-month layoff to finish a duel for the lead third behind Demurely.
Yeah, it was actually a really impressive run from this horse, and can only imagine that she's going to be more fit this time around.
So you're going with the one I like that. We finally gave out a little bit of a price here in these first 4 races this afternoon, excuse me, here. Now, the 5th race, once again, was originally scheduled for 1 mile on the turf. It's going to be run at about 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. And amazingly, we had no scratches in the race. That's the beauty of the Tapeta.
Exactly.
The number 7 is listed as a gelding. You went with the number 3, I believe in here, Sarah's Shaman.
Yeah, this is a colt that was sent really aggressively on debut. Drew the 1 post position, so I understand why. Again, this was a horse that I was excited to see on the grass again. It wasn't really a stop like it looks like on the form here. Just evened out, and I think this will translate well to the turf. Let's hope it translates well to the Tapeta, which is the distance, or the surface he's getting today.
Well, the number 4, Mutawid, I always had on top of my ticket, stretching out to the mile 70 on the Tapeta. But I got to go back. Even though this race is on the turf, I just got to show you the 3/16 home when this horse rallies between tight quarters. Mutawid, tight quarters. There it is, the number 3 in here. And look, you know, typical on the turf for Samantha, nowhere to go.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a really compromised kind of run he got here. But I saw you watching this replay in the office, and you go, oh, that was bad.
Now, look at this. It just, tight quarters, but finds that little bit of seam at the end. So it's game. And, the logic is that if you run well on the turf, you run well on the Tapeta. And it seemed to come to fruition a couple of times. So I kept this one on top of my ticket. And you have the number 8 in second, and then that is Windsor Park.
Yeah, and this is a horse. Watch out next time this horse gets on the turf. Today might be a little just try and see what sticks. He's a bigger mastery colt, so I don't really necessarily like a bigger colt on the Tapeta, but this horse has been working like a monster here at Gulfstream Park.
The number 2, we certainly don't know what we're going to get on the Tapeta today with Gypsy Chief. Makes its North American debut, but how hot has Brian Lynch's barn been? Just been on fire, getting Lasix, Jose Ortiz. They thought enough to keep this horse in the race, so maybe they think they can run well on the all-weather surface. Yeah,
this is a race where, quite frankly, anything can happen, so taking a shot is no problem.
A big field of 11 in that race is going to turn out to be a good betting race for that reason. So now, a first of 5 graded stakes on the card is going to be race number 6, 7 furlongs, 3-year-olds. It is the $125,000, the grade 3 swear. We had a scratch this morning of the 5 King Sparrow. And boy, I was torn. I could see you went with 2 of a kind. Super Chow has just been so good. It's stretching out to 7 furlongs for the first time. I actually talked to Jorge Delgado, and he thinks 7's going to be better for this horse because he can relax him a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's kind of the extra furlong thing. Some people think, well, this horse has so much speed. How is it going to close in this type of situation? But they actually can take a little bit of a breather. Chantel knows this horse so well. And, pace-wise, I think the 3 and the 6 will send and could set up really well for General Jim.
Yeah, could set up for General Jim. Now, why did you go with 2 of a kind on top? We're stretching out also that additional furlong. That was a 7-month layoff this horse returned from.
Yeah, it was. And I know Brian Lynch was really high on this horse. He said this horse was on some stall rest a couple months before even getting back into his barn. And I think this horse just needed an out. It was just kind of jumping into tough waters right away in that Limehouse. He's got the fitness back under him again. I hope this is a fresh horse now.
We talked about General Jim. I want to go back, and I'm just going to pick this horse up from the top of the stretch home. You're going to just see him here. He is the number 5 horse this day, and it's just one of those races. There wasn't a lot of horses in the field, but 2 of them would not let him run.
Yeah, he really was a sucker for trouble this trip. There he was, just caught on the rail, had nowhere to go, but was still so game, which you like to see these 3-year-old colts sometimes, and he was just newly minted, turned 3 this day. I mean, he showed a lot of maturity, and he could just improve greatly off of this.
And you make a great point, because if the speed at Super Chout, you would think if it doesn't go, it's going to be in the first flight, along with 2 of a kind, a small field, and General Jim might just sit there and certainly hope he doesn't get in that same kind of trouble this time around. So.
Yeah, he's got to watch out for those 2 in the front.
So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow Six ticket and the rest of this fantastic card.
All the best jockeys in the world are here, and I'm excited to ride against them.
We back.
And you get to watch some really incredible, talented athletes out there.
Yeah.
To us, it's a place to be in the winter.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the racing.
The palm trees, the beach is right here. The horse racing is some of the best in the country.
A lot of good horses come out of here. And if you want to go to the next level, Gulfstream Park was the place to come.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place. All the history.
Shoemaker sitting perfectly still. He hasn't touched this magnificent colt, and here comes the finish.
And all these great horses, trainers, jockeys. It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, Ron and Samantha. Race number 7 was originally scheduled for 7.5 furlongs on the turf, now to be run at 1.70 on the Tapeta. We will talk about this race in a moment, but first we'll take a look at my Rainbow Six ticket. And I went 4 deep in here, and we'll talk about this race in a moment. You know, just because it's just wide open now with the move to the Tapeta. Now, Shesterkin, everybody's going to bet it, but a similar situation, like you said. I'm taking the stands here with Tapit Trice. I like the way this horse broke bad, so that's where I'm taking my shot today. I know Shesterkin is going to be the favorite. 2 deep in the Kitten's Joy with Candidate, Major Dude, and then I got coverage in the Forward Gale, undervalued this asset, atomically, red carpet ready. Go to race number 11, 3 deep in there once again. I'm not really sold on any favorite in those races. Sweet Lou's got aces. Cairo Consort is in there, and Heavenly Sunday. And in the last, a lot of people may be singling Cyclone Mischief. I think Rocket Cam, Billy Mott, and Legacy Isle can run well in that spot.
Yeah, 43.20, just a textbook ticket here, and it's going to be a huge pool today.
And getting back to this 7th race, here were the scratches, the 1, the 3, the 8, and the number 9 horse in here. Now, I had my long shot today, and I kept it on because here's 12, Red Danger, going to get a little bit of an improved post today, much different than 7.5 on the turf. Now 1.70 miles on the Tapeta. So this one failed to fire on the Tapeta, but that was the Tropical Park Derby. This is not that kind of field. And also didn't handle the slop of Churchill in the Commonwealth, Luis Ayers rides. I just think it's an intriguing son of war that might fit in this spot, and I'm glad to see you have it on the ticket.
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth with this horse, and you know what, Ron? I love an older horse getting Lasix for the first time. This horse has never had Lasix in his career, and he can really move up off of this.
Wow, that's great. See, I didn't even realize. But, I just thought that this is the spot. Now, you did go with the 2 Shadows Sphinx, who's turning back after following a second-place finish. This horse has some class. Was in the Artie Schiller Stakes at Aqueduct. Sort of didn't run in the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale. Sort of took the afternoon off.
Yeah, that's the good way to put it there. No Tapeta form, though. So I didn't change my picks out of this race. We'll see how he'll hold up, but I like the way the Mike Maker barn has been firing so far.
And they do good with horses going from turf to Tapeta. I mean, you won't be able to see it in the form now, but you can look it up on Formulator because of this race moving from the turf to the Tapeta. The number 4, Samburo, the British bred, goes to the Tapeta. Now, this one debuted locally to stalk the pace and finished 5th. I thought it was a perfect table setter for this assignment today for Billy Mott. Who's going better than him, and who's jumping aboard Red Ortiz Jr.? And I looked. I don't remember exactly what the stat was. He doesn't ride that much for Bill Mott.
No.
So it's interesting to see this happening this afternoon.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, he's hot right now, and so is Bill Mott. If they have a good day, Samantha has a good day.
Let's go to race number 8 here, and it's a mile allowance optional claimer, 3-year-olds. Optional claiming price $75,000. Another great race on the card. Scratch the 3. Classic Car Wash. So interested to see your late pick 5.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one here, Ronnie. This is too deep in this race. We'll get to it in a minute. In race number 9, oh, this is a tough one. The Kitten's Joy, I think Candidate could possibly take them wire to wire here. Race number 10, 7 furlongs in the Forward Gal. The number 7 is my top pick. Undervalued asset, but a lot of horses can pop off a really big number in this race. The race 11, Sweetest, Chant. I absolutely love Padma today. We'll tell you why a little bit later. And I love Rocket Can. $40, I'm sold on Rocket Can completely.
I'm glad you did that. And then similar situation now. Race 8 we were talking about. I think you did the right thing by using 2. I took a stance with the Tappet Trice, and I'll tell you why. We're going to go back and show you. First, we're going to show you the start of this horse's race at Aqueduct. Was the number 3 that day. And, wasn't really prepared, and, it's got to be in last here, at the start. And it's just behind the able to see they did a great job upstairs to get him circled. This horse, and I just thought in the stretch that you could see was not a good track.
Right.
We got a good track this afternoon. Or we actually have a fast track, but we'll see how it plays out. And I thought this horse was so game in the stretch to get up after that bad start, so I threw him on top.
Yeah, I completely understand why. He made a huge middle move in this race as well, which you don't get to see. Look at the way he battled back. It's not always that you see a second-time starter, especially a Tappet. They can be a bit immature at times, these colts. He's got a massive stride. He's been working incredibly at Palm Beach Downs. Kind of worried about the fact that they shipped him from New York in the cold and then bring him here to Florida where it gets hot. Then you usually have to clip the horses. Sometimes they lose condition. This is a nice horse and a better horse than the 7 Shesterkin, but I like the post of Shesterkin better.
Yeah, Shesterkin from also from Todd Pletcher's bond, named after the goalie of the New York Rangers. So being a Panther fan, we'll let that slide for right now. A pretty good race, and I think those are the logical 2 in that race.
Definitely.
Let's go to race number 9, 1 mile and 1/16 on the good turf course. 3-year-olds, it is the $175,000 grade 3, the Kitten's Joy, no scratches, jockey changes, and Candidate is where I went for the reasons you just mentioned. We got to show Brian's ticket. He's got a late pick 4 ticket. Let's jump right into that. There you go. He's went 3 deep here, and we'll talk about that race as I was trying to do a moment ago. Lots of coverage like you in race number 10 and race number 11. Now, he singles in the last race. Who does he go? He goes with
Lord
the number.
Miles.
Well, so, what the point is that we didn't think that was a knockout for the favorite in that race. There was different ways you can go up talking about the Holy Bull.
Yeah.
So getting back to this race, which I tried to without showing Brian's ticket, Candidate is stretching out to the mile and the 16 after notching his 3rd consecutive victory. When he broke from the rail, he just never looked back into Dania Beach.
Yeah, it was very impressive, and I think a lot of people were kicking themselves for not betting him at 7-1. Luckily, I did. I saw right through it with Major Dude being the favorite there. But this horse overcame that tough 1 post position last time. He can do it again today. The rails are at 35 feet, so about midway on the course here. He galloped out huge. Now, on the sheets, it wasn't as quick of a number as I thought it looked like, but this horse has all the ability to just improve.
Yeah, and I saw the owner Mark yesterday, and he was just so excited. I hope it doesn't come off the turf. Well, it did not. So the number 4 Major Dude won the grade 2 Pilgrim at this distance of 1 mile and 16. Stretches out. He finished 2nd. He was the even money favorite that day behind, Candidate in the Dania Beach. So he's getting the distance. He's getting Iran. I think this is the one to beat in the race.
Well, we'll see about that.
See, she wants to. Oh, you got a stat on the number 6 horse in here.
Yeah, 6 and 4, both for Todd Pletcher here. This is with turf graded stakes at Gulfstream the past 5 years. 13 for 62, 21 win percentage. So he does quite well with these turf graded stakes here at Gulfstream.
Let's go to race number 10 this afternoon, 7 furlongs, 3-year-old fillies. It is the $125,000 forward gal. The number 7 horse is where we both went. Let's go back and show you this horse. It's raced back on November 10th at Aqueduct. We're going to show the stretch run when she shakes free and just turns on the afterburners and wins it by like 8 lengths.
Yeah, this is a really nice filly, and you don't expect Chad Brown to have a nice young and upcoming dirt filly like this, but just look how game she is. She picks her feet 2 inches off the ground and just digs in. I'm excited to see her back here.
The number 3, Atomically, is stretching out to her favorite racing surface today, returning to her favorite racing surface. 3 starts, 2 wins, moving to the Todd Pletcher barn. Failed to fire. That was in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She turns back to 7, hoping Jose Ortiz can rekindle this horse for course. Those 2 wins are right here at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, exactly. This is a nice edge on this filly here. And first-time Pletcher, let's see how he's improved her since then.
Yeah, a couple of other ways. You went with the 9 and you went with the number 9 horse in 3rd, and the number 9, of course, Positano Sunset, and I went with the number 8, Red Carpet Ready.
Both of these horses really impressive winners last out.
We are in agreement with the number 7, Undervalued Asset. Race number 11 today, 1 mile and 1/16th on the good turf course, 3-year-old fillies. It is the $175,000, the Sweetest Chant Grade 3 event, and it is really a nice race. No scratches, no jockey changes. Oh, you love this horse. Take it away.
Yeah, okay, so this is why Bill Mott is a genius in my book. Padma would be 5-2 in the forward gal in race number 10. He chose to run this filly on the grass, which as soon as I saw her in the paddock last out for the Cash Run Stakes, that's what my note said, run on the grass, please, please, please. And she came back. She ran a really nice race in the Cash Run Stakes behind Infinite Diamond from Patrick Biancone's barn. I don't see anybody beating her today if she takes to this grass course. She's got a really nice turn of foot, which you don't see on the dirt typically. She's going to have it for the grass today.
Well, forget my Rainbow Six ticket. I got to add this 2 to it. She sold me on this. I did go to the inside with the Sweet Lou's Got Aces, who was impressive, winning the $120,000 Tepin at Aqueduct while still a maiden. That is what amazed me there. They thought enough of this horse. Stretches out the 8.5 furlongs for Ray Handel. It's a daughter of Constitution. Joel Rosario, 2nd consecutive start from the rail. That's what intrigued me with this horse.
Yeah, and she's going to be sent again here today. It was a kind of a speed playing Aqueduct grass course that day. So, how good is she? She's very small. She's handy. I hope that this barn does well with this filly because I know they have high hopes for her, but I just went different directions.
The number 7, Cairo Consort, who's the 2-1 morning line favorite, is stretching out to the mile and 16th after following her 3rd place finish in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. With a victory here was the odds-on choice in the 1 mile Ginger Brew. It's Pletcher, it's Irad, it is windy, but besides that, this horse certainly on paper looks like the one to beat.
Yeah, she really does, and you're going to be taking a short price on her. She's one that I used. She can win, yes, but you're not going to get a lot of value on her, and she can improve off of that start.
Yeah, I sort of like, I think there's a couple of ways. If you don't like the 1 and, you made a great case for the 2, here's a great betting race in here. Of course, last but certainly not least, the 1 mile and 1/16th. This is for 3-year-olds. It is the $250,000, the Holy Bull. And if you saw all those selections, the favorite in here, Cyclone Mischief, I don't think I put him on top, but I mean, there was just so many different ways you could go. Let's go back and show you this horse's last race. We're going to pick it up just before the 8th pole home when he draws off, and he wins it, but, by 6 lengths in there. What I remember about it, as soon as the race over, Dale Roman's always watching the race, he screamed out, Holy Bull, here we come. So that was the plan.
Yeah, it was. And I spoke to him earlier this week. He's really excited about this race. He thinks that this horse just has a lot more gas in the tank. This will be a tough horse today.
And Rocky Can, I felt the same way you did. I mean, his debut locally for Bill Mott, ended his freshman campaign with that game 2nd place finish. You know how good the barn is. We don't have to give you stats here. You know how good he is. Junior Alvarado, of course, they hooked up to win the Pegasus. It's just a logical horse, and Legacy Isle maybe too. But what sold you on Rocket Can?
I like his body type, his physicality a bit more for the 2-turn distance. To me, Cyclone Mischief just looks like a 1-turn mile type of horse. Just has a big barrel, super muscled out. And it's interesting because he's an Into Mischief, and just wait till you see Rocket Can in the flesh. He's just a better put together Into Mischief, in my opinion. Just looks like he could run all day long. The horse he was defeated by last time just really narrowly ran 3rd to Instant Coffee in the Lecomte at Fairgrounds, and Instant Coffee, I mean, that's a favorite for the Derby futures already.
What I want to know is, Brian, Single Lord Miles, you got in second. What did I miss here?
You know Brian loves this horse, but he's signing divorce papers after this race, I heard. This horse, they're putting blinkers on, put him in the race a little bit more. He's been one to kind of just lag around behind a bit. Safi really loves this horse here today. We'll see how he fares out. He came closing like a freight train on the outside in that race, Mucho Macho Man, but to me, was he closing or was everybody else slowing down?
Yeah, that's it. So that's how we see the 12. We got 24 minutes till post, so we got to go quickly through our lightning round so we can get Pete on with the scratches and jockey changes. Of course, we have to start it off with Irad. He wins his 7 consecutive races in a row. We'll show you the last one when he won with 6-. It looks like he was out for a jiggy jog in the park. He just ran by everybody.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I can't jiggy jog that fast in the park, so. But yeah, it was really great. It's hard to win one race, let alone 7 in a row. Congratulations to Irad.
You know, tomorrow, Sunday, we have the 2022 Florida Derby runner-up, Charge It, returning in race number 8. There we are. That's such a great shot. Look at that.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
I like that. Victor out there, of course, Victor Sanchez, the clerk of scales. And now we'll show you Charge It. We're going to go back all the way to the Florida Derby, and I thought this horse had a chance to win it in there. Here he comes in the stretch, a little 6. He drifted a little bit, but he went on to win the Dwyer by I don't know how many lengths. So
yeah, he did. He was impressive. And he was just a bit immature here. He's a huge horse. We saw him barking at the dog schooling the other day, and excited to see him back. No dogs allowed, though.
Yeah, he's a big boy, but he was right. He was, no dogs allowed today. So the coast to coast again, it's today, but we're going to show you what they got in store for you on tomorrow. On Sunday, it's going to kick off with race number 10 at Gulfstream Park at about 4:17 p.m. Your best bet today? Did you lose your best bet?
I did not lose my best bet. My best bet is Tap It Trice. Or no, it's not. Pardon me. Sorry, it's Padma. I don't know why I thought it was. That was yours.
Yeah,
I'm taking
stealing
yours.
my pick
Pardon
here.
me. Yeah, Padma, 5-1. Think she'll be all right.
Your long shot?
Don't have one.
Yeah, that's the one you lost. I do have that long shot. I'm trying to make this one win on the Tapeta at 15-1. That is in race number 7. And then we got tomorrow at our sister track, Santa Anita. They got the mandatory payout this week.
Yeah.
They're expecting over $3 million in there. You can see it. So that tomorrow, make sure you get your past performances. And, of course, today, on the big day, you got to beat the expert who's sitting right next to me today. Chance to win one of those cool polo shirts. You going to beat him today?
Oh, we'll see. Like Brian said, he set a really low bar for me last week. You set the highest bar, so I gotta pick up a little bit of slack from Brian.
Well, that's how we see everything here this morning. I'm going to quickly turn it over to Peter ILL with the changes, and of course we'll be back here throughout the afternoon. Brian will be joining us and Claudia, so it'll be a good afternoon. Good luck with all your selections today.
We're ready for the start. They're off.